Hello and welcome to English Story Journey. Today we're diving into the heartwarming story of Pollyanna, a tale about positivity, kindness, and the power of staying hopeful even in difficult times. Listening to stories like this will not only improve your English skills, but also bring a little joy and inspiration into your day. Let's get started. Pollyanna is a heartwarming story about a young girl named Pollyanna Whittier. After her mother passed away, when Pollyanna was very little, Pollyanna lived with her father, who was a poor minister in a small town. Her father taught her to always look on the bright side of life. Even when things were difficult, he made sure that Pollyanna learned how to find something positive in every situation. He called this the glad game. Pollyanna loved the game and played it every day, no matter what happened. When Pollyanna's father died, she had nowhere to go, so she was sent to live with her Aunt Polly, her mother's sister. Aunt Polly was a strict, serious woman who lived alone in a large old house. She wasn't excited about taking in Pollyanna. In fact, Aunt Polly was only doing it because she felt it was her duty, not because she wanted to take care of a child. She didn't know much about Pollyanna and had no idea how different her new niece would be from her. When Pollyanna arrived, she was full of joy and excitement, even though she had just lost her father. She was eager to play the glad game and find happiness in her new life. Aunt Polly, however, wasn't very welcoming. She gave Pollyanna a small room in the attic, hoping the girl wouldn't like it. But Pollyanna, true to her nature, was happy with the room because it had a beautiful view of the trees and the sky outside. No matter what Aunt Polly did, Pollyanna found something to be glad about. As Pollyanna began to settle into her new life, she met many people in the town where Aunt Polly lived. Her first friend was Nancy, Aunt Polly's maid. Nancy wasn't very happy with her job and often complained about it. But Pollyanna, with her bright spirit, helped Nancy see the good in her situation. She taught Nancy how to play the glad game, and soon, Nancy found herself feeling happier and more positive about her life. Pollyanna also met Mr. Pendleton, an older man who lived in a large house by himself. Mr. Pendleton was grumpy and unfriendly at first. He didn't like visitors and kept to himself. But Pollyanna didn't give up on him. She started visiting him regularly, bringing her cheerful attitude and positive outlook with her. Slowly, Mr. Pendleton began to soften. He even started to look forward to Pollyanna's visits. Her joy and kindness helped him feel less lonely, and they developed a close friendship. Another person Pollyanna helped was Mrs. Snow, an older woman who was always sick and in a bad mood. Mrs. Snow had been ill for a long time, and she didn't see any reason to be happy about anything. But Pollyanna visited her often, bringing little gifts and sharing her happy stories. At first, Mrs. Snow didn't want to play the glad game, but Pollyanna's persistence paid off. Over time, Mrs. Snow began to look for things to be glad about too. Pollyanna's bright personality seemed to change everyone she met. Despite all the good Pollyanna did for others, something very sad happened to her one day. While she was playing outside, she was hit by a car and seriously injured. The accident hurt her legs, and the doctors said that Pollyanna might never be able to walk again. For the first time in her life, Pollyanna couldn't find anything to be glad about. She was heartbroken and couldn't play the glad game anymore. She stayed in bed, feeling sad and hopeless. When the people in the town heard about Pollyanna's accident, they were shocked. She had brought so much happiness into their lives, and now they wanted to help her. People started visiting Pollyanna, bringing her gifts, flowers, and words of encouragement. Even Mrs. Snow, who had once been so grumpy, came to cheer Pollyanna up. Mr. Pendleton, who had been lonely and sad before meeting Pollyanna, offered to help in any way he could. Aunt Polly, who had always been strict and distant, was deeply affected by Pollyanna's accident. She realized how much she loved her niece and regretted not showing more care and affection earlier. Aunt Polly started to be more loving, staying by Pollyanna's side and doing everything she could to make her feel better. She wanted Pollyanna to know how much she was loved. Mr. Pendleton came up with a plan to help Pollyanna. He suggested that she go to a specialist in a big city who might be able to help her walk again. Aunt Polly agreed, and Pollyanna was sent to see the doctor. The town waited anxiously for news. After many weeks of treatment, the doctor finally had good news. Pollyanna would be able to walk again. Everyone was overjoyed. Pollyanna returned home, full of gratitude for all the love and support she had received. Pollyanna's story teaches us the importance of staying positive and finding joy, even when life is hard. Her glad game showed people how to look for the good in every situation. Through her kindness, Pollyanna changed the lives of those around her, and in return, they helped her when she needed it most. Pollyanna's journey is one of love, hope, and the power of a positive attitude. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story and found it useful for your English practice. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories. See you next time and keep learning.